Hello and welcome to Across the Balkans. Great to have you with us on the show. I'm Nafisa Latic. For the past several months, anger has been boiling across Eastern and Central Europe over the flood of cheap grain coming from Ukraine. What was supposed to be a show of solidarity with Kiev instead turned into a point of contention as thousands of angry farmers protested falling grain prices. Nowhere was that more evident than in Romania, where farmers blocked roads and border checkpoints last month. Earlier, Poland, Hungary, Bulgaria and Slovakia barred Ukrainian grain and other agricultural products to protect their own markets. The bloc is now also preparing emergency funds to compensate farmers, but it's still unclear if that will be enough. Let's take a closer look.
A dat România de cereale din Ucraina, concurență neloială, îngrășămintele foarte scumpe, deci tot ce băgăm în pământ e foarte scump și nu o să vină foarte ieftin.
Toma is among thousands of farmers across Romania who are angry at the flood of cheap Ukrainian grain. Local markets are reeling from the war across the border. In 2020, grain imports from Ukraine into Romania amounted to $8 million. The following year, it declined to just $2 million. But after Russia's attack on Ukraine in February of last year, the number spiked to around $1.3 billion in 2022. Under current EU policy, Ukrainian grain entering Romania is exempt from customs duties, and farmers say the EU's financial compensation is an insult.
Este total inadecvat și total inoportună suma care a fost acordată. Este o sumă jignitoare care nu face decât să ne încurce și să ne facă să ne certăm pentru 1-2 euro pe tonă care vor fi acordate.
And the outrage has prompted the European Commission to take action.
România este protejată de decizia Comisiei prin care se instituie interzicerea importului pe teritoriul României până pe data de 5 iunie.
As Romania now waits for a permanent EU decision, other EU countries such as Poland, Hungary, Slovakia and Bulgaria have already banned the import of Ukrainian products.
Днес на заседанието на Министерски съвет беше разгледано и прието решение, което ограничава временно достъпа до редица продукти с произход Украйна до територията на Република България.
Again, it was the farmers' protests that forced the Bulgarian government to block Ukrainian agricultural products.
Farmers in Bulgaria haven't been sold any grain so far just because of the Ukrainian import.
But the EU says it will come to a decision only if the other countries revise their bans. Romania's agricultural minister is hopeful that his country will be favored for upholding the rules of the single EU market. Under EU law, members are not allowed to make decisions individually on markets and trade policies without EU approval. And in this case, Poland, Slovakia, Hungary and Bulgaria have ignored that prerequisite. But the resistance from its eastern member states threatens to only harden the EU's Ukraine policies. Yet the EU's suspension of import duties on Ukrainian goods was only meant to last 1 year, and it's set to expire next month. As the deadline draws near, a further extension could spell trouble, not just for the region, but also its trust in the EU.
Let's go to our panel now. From Bucharest, we have Liliana Piron. She is the Executive Director at the League of Association of Agricultural Producers from Romania. And in Sofia, we have Natalia Shkudarova, the Executive Director at Bulgaria's National Grain Producers Association. Great to have you with us both on the show. Now, the question for both, I guess, what are the estimated losses for the grain producers in your countries so far? Liliana, go ahead.
Thank you so much. I just want to say hello to all of your followers. We estimate our losses around 100-115 euros per ton, based on the different type of crops we estimated this loss based on the logistical increased cost, based on the fuel cost from the last years. We had increased cost with inputs. So basically, the crop we are ready to for this summer. I'm very sorry. Although we will have the best crop, we will estimate around for the grain, for the wheat, for the crops, that we will have our best production from the last 5 years. But because we had the input cost very high, we will not be able to sell the products with a good cost. So basically, we are very, very afraid of the insolvency. As I told you, 100 euros per ton.
Right. Natalia, what about Bulgaria's losses when it comes to grain producers?
Well, yeah, hello. The main problem here in Bulgaria is actually the sunflower. This crop is the farmers are not able to sell it, to sell their own production, because now the market here in Bulgaria is flooded with sunflower from Ukraine, and probably this is the crop that is with the biggest problem here. The price is very low actually, and there is hardly any market. The market is blocked, and now we have all this sunflower which is stored in the farmers' storage facilities, and we are 2 months before harvest, and the farmers are not capable to have the new crop stored somewhere because there are no.
So what will happen? So what will happen to this crop that is now in storages?
It is very difficult to answer to this question because the quantity is very big. Actually, it's most of the production that we have here in Bulgaria, and the price is far below the production cost. So the farmers, if they have to sell now, and there is hardly any market for the local production, they will have losses which will be around 400 million euros for all the farmers here in Bulgaria, only from the sunflower. So this is the crop with the biggest problem. But we have also a problem with maize and wheat, because our farmers, they are losing long time tradition partners in Europe, because most of the wheat and the maize from Bulgaria is exported traditionally to European countries like Spain and Portugal. But now these markets are closed for Bulgarian production because of course these countries are buying now from Ukraine.
Right.
Yeah, and these are the main problems.
Right, and the thing is that before Russia launched its attack on Ukraine, Ukraine sent hardly any grain to Romania, for example. But over the past 14 months, it has sent 20 million tons. No wonder we are seeing this kind of mess at the markets, Liliana.
Yes. The same situation, as my colleague said, in Bulgaria is also in Romania. We are very afraid that we will not be able to sell our harvest, our new harvest. We still have harvest from the last years in our deposit, and farmers are very frightened about this situation. They are very scared that they will not have the possibility of the logistical. Basically, Romania is the only country that put for this solidarity lane all the transport lane available. We have road, we have train, and also sea transport. And the cost of this transport was increased with more than 70%. So although the price it is increased with 70%, the cost of the logistic, the trucks are not available, the barge are not available. We don't have this insurance that we will be able to sell our products. We are part of the European market. We respect the conditionality of the CAP.
But Liliana, your minister, agriculture minister, he says that Romania will be protected by this latest EU's Commission decision to ban importing Ukrainian grain until June the 5th. Will this solve the issue, at least for next month?
We are afraid that these are only political promises. In fact, we were agree with the solidarity lane. We were agreed that these cereals must pass through Romania, but not remain in Romania, not to be processed here.
Right.
So we are not very happy with the promises. We want to see fact. We want to see that this grain will go to Africa, to the third countries, and not remain in Europe, as we were agreed in 2022.
Natalia, what do you make of the EU efforts to solve this issue? Seems like the decision until June the 5th is not going to save any grain for these farmers.
It is very difficult to predict what will be the situation after a month, but and we can't be so optimistic about the results of this mechanism. And the problem is that EU is offering somehow compensations, financial compensations, but this won't solve the farmers' problem, because here they're offering some compensation which are far below the losses that farmers in Romania and Bulgaria and Poland are suffering. So the thing is that we need some other mechanisms that will protect the local farmers. And we hope that protective measures like quotas and tariffs and anti-dumping measures will be something that will save the farmers here in Bulgaria or in Romania. Otherwise, these compensations, financial compensations, it's nothing. It's just partially solving the problem, and it's not a decision anyway. We need some time to see how this mechanism will work and whether there will be any results from this. And we hope that there will be some market activity and we'll be able to sell our product on the market and to be ready for the next crop.
Natalia, Bulgaria, unlike Romania, unilaterally imposed the ban on Ukraine grain imports and tried to solve the situation itself. How is this current situation changing the opinion that your association and other associations like yours and grain producers and farmers are having about the EU market and its future?
Well, we are trying to do whatever we want, whatever we are in our forces, because the farmers, they are now pushed to the wall. Bulgaria traditionally exports most of the production that we produce here from maize, wheat, sunflower, rapeseed, and etc. And now we are facing this situation that we are importing a lot times more than we can process here in Bulgaria. So the problem is that our production is not solved. We don't have any trade corridors and markets that we can sell this production, and that's why the farmers are very angry and very willing to fight for in order to save their life, and their families.
Go ahead, finish, please, Natalia.
And now the European Commission, we send a lot of letters, Bulgaria, and also all farmers organizations from Bulgaria, in cooperation with some other European organization. We sent several letters and declarations to the European Commission to alert about this problem, looking for some solutions on time in order to avoid the problem to get bigger and bigger. but we didn't. The Commission didn't hear us. They just told us that they're monitoring the market and there is hardly any problems, and the price is the same. So the Commission, they didn't want to hear the farmers. So that was the last decision that we have to take.
You don't feel like you've been heard by the EU's executive branch, the EU's Commission. Liliana, I have just 20 seconds. Is that the same case that you feel, that you have not been heard?
Yes, the same situation. From a net exporter, Romania became a net importer of goods from Ukraine.
Okay, Liliana, Natalia, thank you both for sharing with us your insight here on Across the Balkans.